Hi everybody, it's me Adele and welcome to my channel Sew for Serenity, where I talk to you about my love for dressmakings, patterns, fabrics, and we have general sewing and live chit chat. So if that sounds of interest to you, please keep on watching. Welcome back to all my regular viewers, and if you're new here, I hope you enjoy what you see and consider subscribing. Welcome to my Project Dresser Girl vlog. I am one of the many vloggers that have decided to support this year, this really good cause. Project Dresser Girl is a wonderful cause organised by Mary Sews over on Instagram and YouTube, and she ran this last year, and they actually came up with nearly 900 dresses last year, which is fantastic. So what is Project Dresser Girl? It's a charity event ran during the month of September where we basically make and donate dresses for Dresser Girl Around the World International, which is an organisation that does just what it says, sends dresses to around the world to girls that need them. So Mary created this sewing challenge for the month of September for the sewing community and YouTubers to talk about fun tutorials, pattern resources and information about how to get involved, to really raise awareness for it and get as many dresses as possible made. I will link a card to Mary's introduction video where she talks all about it. But I decided to get involved when she put a shout out on YouTube and Instagram, and definitely thought it was something I really wanted to get involved in. Ever since I did my own challenge with Crystal and Claire this year in April, with Sewing Challenge, I've really enjoyed making clothes for others, and obviously because I have a little girl myself, I make her dresses all the time and really enjoy it. So there are some really good resources out there. Obviously, if you've got children yourself or grandchildren, or sew for other little girls, and you've probably got your own dress patterns. But what has been really good this year is that there are some free dress patterns that have been created specifically for this event. So there's a couple of dress patterns. So this year's dress pattern is the Jury Desiree Girls Allison tent dress, which I'll insert a picture of. Now this took the YouTube and Instagram by storm last year in the adult version. So Jury Desiree, or So Much Jazz, also known as, has created a girls version for 18 to 24 months and 11 to 12 year olds. 18 to 24 months up to 11 to 12 size. And you can download that free in the month of September using PDAG22 in the checkout. There's also some other dresses. Sirena Patterns has done a rainbow t-shirt dress, and she's done a live tutorial on September the 5th, which I will link in the notes below, and it's a t-shirt top with a woven bottom. And then Thoughtful Creative created a dress last year for the challenge free of charge, and they've also created a new one this year, which is an A-line dress with pockets, and it's really cute. It's got inseam pockets and it's a great stash buster. So they're the three dresses that are available straight off the bat, but there's obviously loads and loads of resources out there. So how do you get involved? Now, I appreciate this is towards the end of September my video is going out. However, it doesn't take very long to make one of these dresses. So if you haven't took part already and you really want to get involved, please just try. If you've got some scraps, you'll be able to make some great dresses out of those, great scrap buster, and you can do something for a really good cause. Now, as I say, I've linked the video to Mary's kickoff video, which tells you all about how to go about this. But you basically get your pattern. She does ask you to have labels to sew into them, but obviously by the time this comes out, you're probably not going to have time to get a label from her, which is a Project Dresser Girl label. But she said, don't worry, she wouldn't want this to stop you. Still make the dress and they will put the label in for you when they get them. You need to post your finished dress on Instagram no later than September the 30th using the hashtag Project Dresser Girl 22, and tag Mary Sews for Curves, which is her Instagram handle, and it's Mary Sews on YouTube. And dresses will be counted by the pictures posted in Instagram. And if you are on Instagram, you can send an email to her address, which I'll put in all the details below. And then you send your dress for donation the first week of October to your ambassador that is local to you. And there is a UK ambassador which you can send all your dresses to, and they will then forward those dresses on to the head office. So there are some rules around what the dress needs to be like. It needs to be a pullover dress with pockets, you need to make sure that it's made out of a sturdy material like cotton or linen and breathable, and no holiday themes, cartoons or fabrics with flags or words on them. You can have like nice children prints, but not any like trademarked cartoons like Peppa Pig and stuff like that. And if your fabric is sheer, please make sure you line it. We want to make sure these dresses are decent, and don't use pillowcases. And you need to avoid fasteners such as zippers, Velcro, buttons and ribbons. You can use bias tape or fabric ties, but don't use ribbons. And then that's it. They're the only rules that there are. So my video is coming to you on the 24th of September, and I have made all of my dresses. Now, I accidentally ordered 6 labels. Don't know how I did that. And basically Mary contacted me and saying there was a bit of an issue where she thinks it's her end, but I might have ordered 6, I don't know. And she said she can either refund me the money for the labels, or she could send me the 6. And I basically said to her, just send me the 6, it'll inspire me to do the 6 makes. And all the money gets donated to Hope for Women International for Dress a Girl Around the World, which is the organisation that runs this. So, you know, it's for a good cause. So I've made my 6 dresses. Now, you may all be sitting there thinking, I haven't got time to make a dress, as I said, but you have got time to make a dress, and I can prove it. So I have my lovely 6 dresses here, which I will talk you through in a second. But what I thought I'd do is show you that you can make one of these dresses on your lunch hour. Now, I actually made a different dress to what was suggested in the that have been recommended, because I have this pop-over sundress by Olive and S. And I believe Michelle Sews Again actually used this dress as well. And this is a free pattern for sizes 2 to 8, and it's an A-line dress with loose fitting style, and it's got a yoke at the front, yoke at the back, and it's got bias binding as a ties. And I just put some patch pockets on it because it doesn't have pockets on it. Now it's a really simple dress as well, because it's the front and back are the same, 2 yoke pieces, 1 front and back, and then you've got the bias binding and then the pocket. So it's really, really simple to cut out. Now, I didn't do the cutting out on my lunch hour, but it did literally take me 10 minutes to cut out in the sizes that I made. And I will now show you the video where I set myself the challenge on my lunch hour to make up a dress. So let's see how I got on. I'll insert the video now. Right then, so it's my lunch, and I am going to see if I can sew a dress for Project Dress a Girl in an hour in my lunch break. So I have got all the pieces cut out here. I'll just quickly show you. So the pop-over dress is by Olive and S Patterns. It's a free pattern, and it's a lovely sundress, and you can actually do a doll version of it as well. So your child and can have matching outfits with their doll. So it's a really simple dress to make. I've already made 5 of them, and this is my 6th one. So what I wanted to do was just prove that we could do this in your lunch hour. So if any of you are thinking, I can't join in Project Dress a Girl, haven't got time to sew, if you have a lunch hour and you're at home, then you should be able to do it. So let's try and prove that you can sew a dress in an hour. So I have already cut out the pattern pieces, but it's very, very quick, especially if you make the smaller sizes. The front and the back is the same pattern piece, cut on the fold, and it's this one here. So I've got 2 of those. I've also got the 2 yoke pieces here, again exactly the same. And then it doesn't come in the pattern, but for Project Dress a Girl you do need to have pockets on them. So I've cut out these pockets here, which are just squares basically. And I have already sewn on the Project Dress a Girl label, which I did in bulk with all of them. So that is already on there, but that doesn't take very long. And then I didn't make my own bias binding for these ones out of the same fabric because I didn't have any left. So I've got some white bias binding, double fold bias binding to do the ties on the shoulders. So let's hopefully see. I have actually got to change my thread because I'm going to use pink thread for all of the sewing, and then when I put this on I'm going to swap to white because I'm a bit pedantic that way. I did put white thread on first, but it just didn't sit right with me. It needed to be pink and then change to white for that. So let's see if we can get this done in an hour. I have got my timer ready. I do have a meeting in an hour, so I do have to actually finish in an hour's time. Let's get the timer on and we are off. So obviously I will speed up the bits so you don't sit and watch me for an hour sewing, because that would be really boring, wouldn't it? So the first thing to do is get your yoke and your front or back piece, it doesn't matter, they're both the same, and you basically put the right side of the yoke to the wrong side of the dress. I know that sounds weird, but it does actually work. And we just pin that in place really quickly, and it's slightly curved, so you do have to stretch the fabric to get it to meet the edges, but it's curved so that the dress sits nicely. Let's quickly put that there. And it's exactly the same for the back as well. So I'm going to just do all the pinning now to hopefully save time. It's 1/2 inch seam allowance. Haven't threaded my thread. Now I just need to press the seams open. We'll do that. So I've pressed the seam up there, so the seam pointing up toward the yoke, and you can see that that's pressed all lovely there. And then you also fold over the top of the yoke like so by 1/2 inch, and then press that, and then you press it over again to cover up that unsightly seam. And then yes, I've got the right way up bunny rabbits, yay. And press that. And the same with this side, pressed it up and then you fold it over. So I'll just press that now. Oh no, just realised my bunny rabbits are upside down. I cannot be doing with that, so I'm going to have to unpick. What time are we on? 53:14, so I need to quickly do that. Right, so now my bunny rabbits are all in the right direction. I am going to top stitch along the top of the yoke there just to secure it into place. So there's my two front pieces. So now I'm going to sew them together. Now I can't be bothered to change the thread on my overlocker, and my overlocker thread is black, so I will have to do French seams. So I'll quickly do that now. So instead of doing right sides together, we do wrong sides together. And what I'm going to do is just sew up one side first, then I'm going to put the pocket on to get the pocket placement, and then I'll sew up the other side, because I found that the quickest way to do it. The first one I sewed it all up first and then put the pockets on afterwards, which was doable but a little bit fiddly, so I don't recommend you do that. So because it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, I'm going to do 1/4 inch for the first part of the French seam, and then I'll also do, when I fold it back over, I will do another 1/4 inch to enclose the seam. Right, one side of the seam done. Let's check on the time. 45 minutes left. So I'm just going to trim that down a little bit, just to make sure that I don't catch anything in the seam. Press it open. Right, so that's all pressed lovely now. So now I'm going to go back down that seam again with 1/4 inch to encase the raw edges. There's my French seam. Is we all enclosed? And we're all enclosed lovely as well, so that's great. Okay, so next on to the pockets. So I have a way to make these pockets. what I basically do is I do some folding at the top to get a neat edge, and I'll just show you how I do that. I fold it over like this, and then I fold it back on itself like that. So I hope that makes sense. So fold it wrong side to wrong side, just a little lip, just like a little, just over by a little lip, and then right side to right side by a bit more. So you get that kind of view, and then I press it. Right, now what I do is I run some stitches just 1/4 of an inch in here and also here. And there we go. And now what I do is I trim the corners like this on both. And then when I turn it out, I'll get a nice sharp corner, well, kind of nice sharp corners. So I basically just turn it out like that to create the top of the pocket. Obviously it needs pressing, but that creates you a nice little lip at the top. And then what I do is I go around and fold in 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and then I'll sew it on. So I'll just press that now. And there we have our cute little pockets. So now I'm going to position them on the dress. And I did just guess this really based on it being just below the waist, because obviously there wasn't any markers to where they should go. You don't need to worry about which way round to put them because the front and the back is exactly the same. And I just make sure that I put them equal distance apart from the centre fold. So obviously on my fabric, because it's cotton, I can see my centre fold. So I've placed mine equal amounts from the side, from the centre fold. Oh, I forgot a step. I'm just going to do a bit of top stitching across there. This is what happens when you're rushing. Got 37 minutes left. Making good time. Right then, so as you can see, my pockets are lovely pinned on there. I'm just going to sew them on and just sew all the way round in the pink. Right then, that is my wonderful little pockets put on. And don't they look cute? So next I'm going to sew up the other French seam. We are now on 30 minutes to get to that point. Remember, I did unpick and change my bobbin. So again, wrong sides together for my French seam. All pressed, so let's get on with closing that French seam up. And there's my other French seam. So normally I would do all the finishing touches before I hemmed it, but because I'm going to change my thread for the bias binding, I am going to hem mine first. So the way that it tells you to hem this, and there's lots of patterns that tell you to hem this way, is to do a guide stitch first of all, and I am a big fan of this. So basically that involves you sewing your full hem seam allowance all the way around, so it's 1/4 of an inch, and then once you've done that, you use that as a guide to fold up your seam allowance. So with the seams pushed to the back, I'm going to put in my guide stitch now. So that is my 1/4 inch guide stitches. And so now I'm going to press up a quarter and then press up another quarter along that guideline to get a nice neat finish. Okay, so that's pinned all the way around now. I'm going to sew it and then I'll press it. And hopefully I'll win chicken bobbin this time. Right, that's done now. I'm just going to press it. Now you can take your guide stitch out. I'm not going to bother because you can't see it. It's on the inside, but if you were bothered about it, you could seam rip it out. Okay, so how are we doing for time? We have 18 minutes and 56 seconds until I have to back off my lunch. So now the only thing that we need to do is put the ties on. So that's just with bias binding. So you measure these out and then you find the halfway point. And then right sides together, pin that round the armhole, and then you just put the halfway point in the middle of the seam. Okay, so that's pinned on there. I need to change my thread now because I want to do white. Okay, so they're both on now. What I need to do now is press that over onto the other side, press it and then stitch along and also shut the ends over. What I'll do is I'll just show you how I've been finishing the ends as quickly. I've been folding them the right sides together like this, stitching them with about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then that just allows very quickly to fold it back out, and then you get a neat little close at the end. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to press that now. So now that's all pinned, I'm going to get on and sew it, and I've actually got 10 minutes left. I finished it. Let's give it a nice little press and trim off the threads and then see what it looks like. Okay, there we have it, a finished dress, and how adorable is that? So cute. Let's see how much time that took. I got 3 minutes to spare, enough to have a cuppa and a chocky? I think so. So there you go, sew a dress in under an hour for a really good cause. So there you go, you can see that you can make a dress in just under an hour, so you probably could actually get the cutting out done as well. And you know, if you don't get a full hour lunch, you could do half an hour one day and half an hour another, but basically you can get a dress made in an hour is what I'm trying to say to you. So shall I show you my dresses that I've made? So the first dress that I did make was actually the Alison tent dress. I did have a go at it in this beautiful orange heart print, and to be honest with you, it's a lovely dress, but it was taking me a long time to make it, which basically made me think I've got 6 of these to make, so I needed to change it up a little bit. So I did finish off this make. It's a lovely little dress. It's got little pockets here, and this is the smallest size for a 2-year-old, but it is a little bit fabric hungry because you've got the ruffle on the bottom and the ruffle on the sleeves, and that also makes it time consuming as well. So although it's a great little dress and I've sewn my little label on, I only made 1 of these because of how many I had to make and how time consuming it was. So that's just a warning there. If you're making 1, it's fine, but if you're making more than 1, it's probably not the best pattern to choose. Okay, so I decided to make a range of sizes as well. So I made 2 size 8s in this really cute, bit of thread on there, really cute chicken fabric, and I had this lovely bias binding to make for bias binding in my stash to use for the ties, and I thought they looked really, really cute, and they've got pockets on them. So just put some patch pockets on them, and you can see there that I've got my Project Dress a Girl label on there. Now the Project Dress a Girl labels have to go on because they are also, they are a cute addition, which is what I initially thought was the reason for them, but actually it's to make sure that any predators that are you know, trying to prey on these children know that they're being looked after by an organisation, which hopefully keeps them at bay. So yeah, they're my first two in a size 8, and yeah, these are just really lovely light dresses that'll be perfect for hot countries. The next one I did was a size, I think it was a size 6 actually, and I really like this one. This is one of my favourites. Now I didn't have any bias binding to go with this, so I just cut the bias binding. There is a pattern piece to cut your own, make your own bias binding out of the fabric, so I just cut the same fabric for the bias binding and followed the same process, and this is a really cute dress, and the label looks really cute with it as well, so it's like a tie-dye. And these are all scraps that I had in my well, not scraps, they're all bits of fabric that my mum actually gifted me, a lot of it crafting cotton or poplin that she just doesn't use anymore because of her illness. She can't really do her crafting like she used to, so these have all gone to a good cause and are going over for these dresses. And then the next one was an age 3, I think, or 4. And this is made in this really cute house fabric, which I thought would be fine. It's not like any country specific, it's just a really cute little bright coloured pattern, and again got the cute little pockets and the Project Dress a Girl label on there. So that was dress number 5. And then the final dress, which is the one that you've just seen me make, is this beautiful, and it is probably my second, is it my favourite? I think it is my favourite actually. That one and that one are my favourites, but I think this one, I just really like the contrasting bias binding. So I didn't have any fabric left over to make bias binding in the fabric, so I used white, and I think that looks really nice. And this is one that you've just seen me make up in my lunch hour, and I'm really proud of this one. Now I have actually cut this fabric out twice because I want to make Alice one of these as well, because I think it's really cute. I haven't made it up yet. And so yeah, it's got the little pocket, and yeah, that's a 2-year-old version, which I think is going to be lovely. I think it'd be really nice if I can get Alice modelling this, so I might pop it on Alice and see how it fits. It looks quite big actually, so it might be more like for a bigger child, but it might be okay. But yeah, that's my 6th dress. So yeah, that's my Project Dress a Girl dresses, and I thoroughly enjoyed the challenge of getting these sewed up. I did do them in a week, and it was my priority, and I'll tell you what, the feeling that I've got from doing that is just really, really nice. It, you know, doing things for others makes you feel good. It's just one of those things that warms your heart, and you know, I can't wait for these little girls to receive these dresses and know that there's people out there that really care about them and want them to have a dress basically. So yeah, I'm going to get all these posted on Instagram now and add to the count. I think Mari wants to get to over 1,500 this year. I think she wants to double the figure, but I think she'll be happy with 1,000. But yeah, let's try and get over that 1,500 mark and really blow it out the water. So yeah, if you want to ask me any questions about this, please let me know. If you're worried that you're not going to be able to get this done or want any tips, reach out to me. As I've proven, you can do this certainly in an hour in your lunch hour. So instead of sitting up and watching a bit of Netflix in your lunch hour, why don't you make a dress for a child in need? And that's it. That's all from me for now. So I hope you enjoyed this, and please like the video if you've liked it, and consider getting involved. Thank you all. See you all soon. Happy sewing. Bye.